Hello everyone and welcome to season 3 of Falling for Sewing. Before the video begins, I want to let you know that I did drop my camera equipment and now there is a glare in my lens, so I do apologize for the inconvenience. It's not major, but I will be getting that fixed for next week. I hope you enjoy today's viewing. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday to you and thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Talisha and I also go by CreativiTeeByT, and in today's video I am going to be sharing the second showing of the Falling for Sewing season number 3. And so Falling for Sewing is a series that involves sewing that I have been doing in collaboration with the beautiful and talented Ellie of Sally and Sam Style for the last 2 years, so this is the year 3. Fall is one of Ellie and I's favorite seasons, and we just enjoy all of what fall entails, minus like the wet fall leaves and things like that. However, we pretty much love everything about fall and fall fashion, fall sewing, right? So in this series we will be sharing a variety of fall inspired makes to spark your creativity and to motivate you to celebrate the season through your own sewing projects and fashion by building a 5-piece fall mini capsule wardrobe, and we're going to share each item with you along the way. At the end of my series, or at least on my channel, I will also share how I can take all 5 garments and make 13 or more completely separate looks. Okay, so that will be at the very end. So let's go ahead and get into today's look, and then after you watch my video, make sure that you go over to Ellie's channel to see what she made. Today we are sharing different types of garments, meaning our garments are for today are not matching, and you know, they're just not the same, so you definitely don't want to miss out on what she's sharing. Sorry, I got hair on me. Yeah, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that, and I will make sure that I link to her channel in the description box below. All right, so back to today's make. I am sharing a make from Simplicity 8982, and this make is the long sleeve t-shirt. When I shared my video for the plans of this series, I shared how a long sleeve t-shirt was going to fit into my mini fall capsule wardrobe, and I picked a long sleeve t-shirt because I wanted it to be a part of this due to it being able to serve as like a layering piece. So in the fall I personally use t-shirts to wear undergarments, on top of garments, or just as like a standalone top itself. So it's very multifunctional for me and my wardrobe, and I feel like it can be for you as well, which is why I included this. So let's address the age of this pattern that I used. Again, this is Simplicity 8982. This pattern came out in 2019, and this is an oldie but goodie though. I remember it was all over Instagram. So many people made this pattern because it's so practical, you know. But I actually went ahead and picked this pattern because I don't have like a staple t-shirt TNT type of pattern, and I made the top, actually the turtleneck view of this pattern, which is like what the model is wearing, and I'll go ahead and put it up in the screen. But I made the turtleneck view, which has the same bodice, so it has the same front and back of this particular t-shirt back in 2019. I felt like that it fit really well, so I thought I would go ahead and give this a try in the t-shirt form. Now, did it work out? Not really. Not really. Not the way that I wanted it to. So if you want to know more about that, just please continue watching and you will find out and get all the details. So I'm going to go ahead and talk briefly about the pattern. There's not too much to it, so it's not going to be very long. But again, this is Simplicity 8982, and the pattern description of this is Mrs. 2-piece sweater dressings. And no, I did not use a sweater. I used a knit. So there are 5 views to this pattern, and this is actually a very good staple and timeless type of pattern. And just like last week I had a very good type of pattern that I felt like it was timeless and can go well with any CreativiTeeByT type of wardrobe, and I think this is the same. So for this pattern, there's a long dress pattern, there's a regular top pattern, which is the pattern that I made into a t-shirt, a turtleneck pattern, and then there's 2 skirts with different lengths, okay, and they're pencil skirt styles, and they do have like back darts. And this pattern it does call for knits, even though the pattern description says sweater knits. It calls for all different types of knits, like interlock and rib knit and things like that. So that, I don't know if I should be confused by that, but I am a little bit. So yeah, now the sewing scale is set to easy to sew. It's written on the pattern, easy to sew, and in my opinion it definitely is. The pattern sizing comes in size 6 to 22, and I cut a 20, which has a finished bust measurement of 44 inches, and that was way big for me. It's too big all the way around. It's hanging off my shoulders. As you can see here, I like mine to sit up about an inch higher, and yeah, it's also bigger around the sides and under the arms. So here's the reason why. When I gained weight, I went from a bust size, a finished bust measurement of 45 inches to 47 inches. And now that I am losing weight, I am back down to 45 inches, and I kind of like forgot in a way, you know. And for me, that's a big deal when it comes to knits, and the shirt is just way too big. And I already pre-washed this fabric before I even sewed it, so it's not like it's going to shrink down. Now, with me being back down to a bust size of 45 inches, I would typically sew a bust of 43 inches in a knit fabric, which means I should have made a size 20 according to the size chart of this pattern. And that's like if I would have sewed it up in a stable knit, which is my preference, okay? But with how this pattern is designed, and because of the amount of stretch in the fabric that I actually have, I should have probably cut a size 16 to make it fit properly. However, all is not lost, because there are ways to wear a t-shirt that is somewhat oversized and still look nice, and I will share those with you, those type of looks with you later. So let me go ahead and circle back to the pattern, okay? So this pattern calls for stretch knits only, but the fabric that I use, it is a stretch knit, but I use a brushed poly, and to be honest, I only made this in this brushed poly because I wanted this color, and I just felt like it popped. This was going to be my accent color, and that's the only reason why. I have a bunch of brushed and double brushed poly in my stash because I actually like how it feels. That's the reason why I start purchasing it, and it feels good on my skin. But I don't like how it drapes, and I don't like how it hugs my body, and it also kind of like sticks to itself. Like, so if I wore like a longer dress, it would just kind of stick to itself like static. And I just don't like that, okay? But yeah, that's the reason why I made it, okay? And so for this fabric, I purchased this last year at Hobby Lobby, and yeah, it was about a year ago, but when I went there not too long ago, I did see this on the boat for sale. So if you want to check it out, you can. And I do understand that not everyone is a fan of Hobby Lobby, but it is an option if you don't have anywhere to shop, and if you don't mind to shop there. They have their 30% off sale, so it's just a regular, it's not like a seasonal. For the pattern pieces, there are 4 main pattern pieces. There is a front and a back, which are both cut on the fold. There's the neckband, and then there's the sleeves. For the notions, you only need thread, and I do think, you know, outside of the oversized look, that it looks like the actual pattern cover or the, you know, illustration on the pattern. Now, as far as alterations or changes, I didn't make any type of modifications. I mean, I should have sized down, and I suggest you do the same if you're not using like a stable knit. Like I said, I prefer more of like a Ponte, Liverpool, or even a t-shirt type of knit. I love a t-shirt, like a regular cotton t-shirt type of knit that comes in like you know, just a regular t-shirt. And I like that because I feel like they sew up more true to size and they don't stretch out like this stuff. Like I would, you know, I get so nervous when I'm messing with the neckline with this double brush poly or brush poly because it just stretches out. However, it's still a nice fabric, and if you're okay with that, I prefer this to be more in a turtleneck because I don't feel like I have those issues with that. So I would recommend it. And as far as this pattern, I would also recommend the pattern. Like I said, it's a good staple. The instructions were easy. The things that I liked about it the most is that, you know, you just have your good basics. The other thing that I like about this is that it's the front and back are cut on the fold. Last year I made Simplicity 3003. I'll put the pattern up in the screen. I'm looking at it over here in the corner. That's why I'm looking over there. And it had a surprise zipper in the back, and I did not see that coming, and I was so disgusted at that point in time. And you know, I do like that fit. I like how it fit on my shoulders, and I made that out of a double brush poly. I didn't complain about that because number one, it was in my favorite print, which was leopard or cheetah, and it was a turtleneck, so I didn't get, you know, it didn't make me feel a certain type of way, but it fit well on my shoulders. I didn't have any problems with it stretching out, and the only problem I did have is that it had that zipper, and it's tight. I didn't use a zipper on that particular view. The neck area needs to be widened for it to fit properly, and so I think I'm going to just take this pattern and adjust it for that to make that my TNT. But if you have any suggestions on TNT patterns for a t-shirt, let me know and I will definitely try those out. I didn't dislike anything about the pattern itself except for, you know, it might be oversized. I'm not really sure. I just feel like it was me with my fitting. I didn't learn anything new. It's a very simple basic pattern, and but I did have a first time experience, and because I decided to use a pattern that I have made before, I wanted to do something different to bring to the channel, even though you probably don't remember when I made the first one. But I wanted to bring something different, so I decided for the first time ever, drum roll, I decided to use a twin needle for my neckband, for the sleeve hem, and for the bottom hem, and I love it. I will say that I think it came out great, and I enjoyed doing it. I actually started with the neckband, and I didn't do it right. I had the double stitch in between the seam, and so the stitch was on the top, on the bottom of the neckband and the top of the actual top. I looked at some pictures online, and that's not how the double stitch was supposed to be. It was all supposed to be on the bottom, so basically on the actual shirt. So I had to unpick that, which I was nervous about the neckband stretching, and redo it, and so I did. And when I redid it, it looked so nice, but I did get a pucker, which is driving me nuts. And because I had already unpicked it, was nervous about stretching out the neckband, I did not unpick it again, and the pucker is still there. I'm so annoyed by this, but I was very careful when I did the sleeve and when I did the bottom of the top to make sure that there were no buckles, and those came out perfectly. I'm still considering about repicking this neckband because, like I said, it's right there in the middle, and I wasn't able, I don't know if you can see it, it's somewhere in the middle, and I wasn't able to get it out. I tried ironing it, and it just, I didn't want to scorch it because I kind of scorched the back a little bit, but yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but you know, overall, you know, I feel like the neckband and the double stitch came out great. Let me see if I can show you the sleeves here. Here's the sleeve. I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in if you cannot, but I thought that came out great. Yeah, so yeah, that's my little work. All right, so yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. Now, as far as the styling, I styled this top with some jeans and boots, and then I also styled it a couple different ways so that you can see how you can still wear a top when it's like bigger than you prefer and still make it look good. And so I'll go ahead and insert those clips now. So for this first look, I have paired my t-shirt with a blazer. It's a brown blazer, and I have a scarf in front of it. This is just a camouflage, like the shoulder area, that I'm not too proud of. Although I know it's not excessively oversized, this is a way to cover it up. And then here you see where I have buttoned it. That's also an option if you really don't want, you know, a person to see it all. So for this next look, I basically just took off the blazer. So if you don't want too many layers, or if it's warmer out, then you could simply just put a scarf over and put it towards the front so that it can kind of camouflage the look of it being oversized. It kind of takes over as being the focal point, and this kind of helps as well. For this next look, I did what I do most of the time when I have an oversized t-shirt, and I just took a rubber band, I pulled the fabric off to the side, bunched it up, and put a little knot in it. And this really helps to cinch in the fabric itself and makes it for a nice snug look. And then lastly, I took a rubber band and pinched in the sides of my t-shirt, and then I went underneath the t-shirt to grab what I pinched in, and I rubber banded, and that way I could have like a front knot look. And that really does help to cinch in the t-shirt as well. As far as availability, this pattern is still available on the Simplicity website. Like I said, it came out in 2019, and so because it's so old, it's probably available at Hobby Lobby as well. And like I said, it's a good pattern, easy pattern. You know, you can just make it in a day, which I did, and it just a few hours actually. And yeah, I think you should get it. All right. So with that being said, I would definitely make this pattern again after making some adjustments to match the fabric. It is very versatile. It can be, you know, definitely dressed up or down, but for me it serves as my layering piece for my mini fall capsule wardrobe. Look at this color. It's blending right in. I mean, I'm looking like a sunflower. So yeah, again, you know, I was strategic with the reason behind it and the color. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let me know, did I save the top? I mean, like, I know it's too big. I don't want to put darts in the back and take it in. I'm just gonna leave it as is and wear it the way I can, and some people won't even notice. You know, I did go back to the longer hair, and so that may even help, you know, as well. But you know, for me it just kind of looks like a oversized t-shirt. You're not gonna get 100% wins every time, I understand that, just as long as it doesn't look, you know, completely like in the dumps. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you like the styling, you know, cover up type of options. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this information was helpful in knowing why it is key to add a long sleeve t-shirt into your fall capsule wardrobe. And I hope this has also inspired you to make one as well. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, you already know what I'm getting ready to say. Please take a pause for the cause and click the like button and the subscribe button and the gray notification bell so that you could be notified of future videos. Please, please, please make sure that you go over to Ellie's channel to see what she is sharing today. I do thank you so much for watching. I thank you to all of my new and returning subscribers for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.